my channel. Okay, so I just spent like an hour trying to set this up and find a new place to video stuff where lighting's good, but I currently look orange. So yeah, that didn't work out too well. But I got this amazing blanket as a background. I have this amazing setup with a microwave, a box, a table, and my video camera. And you probably hear a lot of stuff in the background. That's cars, because I am in a camper. And life is great. I'm great. I'm sweating. I'm dying. And today's video is going to be pretty good. It's going to be another story time. But at the end of the video, there's a surprise for my third video on this channel. This next video will be semi-decent, and it's going to be a lot of surprises and a lot of fun. So, y'all need to stick around and enjoy this video. Okay, so today's video starts with the old friend of mine. So what y'all just saw was an old glimpse of me and my dear friend, this side by side. It is no longer in her full health. She's under construction and she is working on it, and it's okay. But this all started back when Christmas was just rolling around. When Christmas was just rolling around, a couple weeks before, my dad decides to tell me that he is buying Jameson this new side-by-side. And I was going to go with him to buy this new side-by-side because I wrecked his old go-kart. And something with that didn't sit well with me. The fact that me and the go-kart, we had our experiences too. But that was Jameson and my go-kart. And we loved that go-kart. And it is not my fault that it ended up in a ditch after a short mud ride experience. Because, you know, I had to get a little country yee-yee in me, and I decided to go mud riding dead after it rained. And the fact that I skidded into a ditch was not my problem at all. I couldn't help it. It was Mother Nature. It's not what James said, and the go-kart has not been fixed. So it still lies in the shed. So Christmas rolls around, and I sit 3 hours in a parking lot waiting for his beautiful, gorgeous side-by-side to be fixed up and delivered and ready to give to Jameson on Christmas morning. Christmas morning rolls around, he wakes up, he's getting all of his presents. I open my presents, and mine were pretty decent. Like, I had some really good presents. And I knew what he had in store, but he didn't know. Like, he's already opened his indoor presents, but his side-by-side was sitting outside. So I'm looking at him like, ha, your Christmas sucks. I was like, Mom and Dad hate you. They love me. I'm the favorite. I was the first child. Maybe you should step back. And then he went outside and saw his side-by-side. And he's like, oh my God. First thing he does, kid you not, turned around, looked at me. You won't ever touch this. This is my side-by-side. You wrecked my go-kart, and I will never, ever, ever trust you with this side-by-side. And I didn't care. I handled it really well. There's a huge truck outside right now, so 1 second. It's all good. And I was like, all right, fine. I knew good and well I was going to get to ride or drive in that side-by-side, so I had no worries. So about a week after Christmas, I decided to go paintballing with my boyfriend. We'll call him Lowen, and Jameson, and my dad. And we all went to this paintballing place, because why not show your love to one another, then shoot each other down with paintballs, because that was realistically the idea, to let a little anger out, to have a good old time, bond, you know, it was a great day. So I wake up that morning, I'm looking cute, I'm like, come get me, look at me, I'm cute, and you need to realize that, and I'm about to shoot you down with paintballs kind of deal. So he would like appreciate what he has. And he shows up, he's wearing like 5 shirts, but then some shorts. No big deal. My dad wakes up, he gets in his old army combat gear, all camo, onesie camo, puts Jameson in all black attire, looking like a sniper, and we knew that they were overdressed for it. We were like, huh, y'all losers, we're about to freaking beat y'all in paintball. we show up to the paintball place and everybody is decked out in gear and we're the only ones in t-shirts and shorts and looking like we're about to die. So after everything was said and done, we were shot down multiple times. Multiple things happened. My hair destroyed with paint. We go back to my house. And this is where really all of this starts. We go back to my house and I walk in the room and I said, hey, do you want to go outside and ride the side-by-side? And then he was like, sure, why not? So I went to Jameson's room and I discussed that I was going to be very careful. I was going to drive under the speed limit of 5 miles per hour. I was not going to harm his side-by-side. I was not going to wreck it. It was going to be just fine. It was only going to be for a good 15-minute drive. No worries. Gas tank was full. Everything is great. Yeah, I bet y'all see where this is going now. So, he agrees to let me drive this side-by-side in Lowen. Me and Lowen are driving around the yard, and let me say, before this, I got to drive the side-by-side when Jameson was at home by myself. And I was spinning 180s, I was doing 360s in the mud, like, everything was good. Like, I was like, this is fun. This thing is cooler than the go-kart in the past. So, I've never driven with anybody else besides me. And it was time for me to try with somebody new. And I let him get in the go-kart, side by side, same thing. And we're driving around, I'm getting used to the extra weight that I have on the go-kart. And I'm not saying anything about him, I'm just saying I've never driven with anybody but me. So I'm driving, and I'm like, alright, this isn't bad, I'm getting used to it, this is all good. And I'm starting to get a little more reckless with it, but it wasn't bad. Like, I was just like, driving a little bit faster than 5 miles per hour, and I was just going around the yard. Well, then, my yard is set up to where, like, it's on a hill, and then there's the volleyball court, and then you can come up the driveway, and there's another hill that leads onto our road. Well, the road is a really big road, and there's this neighborhood across from it, but my house is separate from the neighborhood. And I'm pulling up to the road, and I'm going around this power line. So I'm driving, I'm going around this power line, and I'm just now starting to, like, get used to this stuff. And I turn the wheel, and the go-kart hits 2 wheels. And at that point, I freak out, because I'm like, oh my God. And Lowen has passed out. Passed out, like, kind of passed out. He just closed his eyes and relaxed, because he knew it was game over for both of us. And all of a sudden, I had the go-kart wheel. I hit the turn so I can go back on 4 wheels. It dropped Lowen's side, and we rolled. And when I say we rolled, he was out. Like, he wasn't passed out. I don't know what he was. He was in some state of where his brain was not with me. And I'm freaking out. I'm having the wheel. I'm shaking around like this. And we're rolling, and we roll, and we roll. And then it stops, and I'm on the bottom. And Lowen has now fell out of his seat and falling on top of me. So we're just chilling for a second. I'm blinking. I'm like, all right, this sucks. This gotta be a dream. Wasn't a dream. And we get up. Well, I tap him, and he gets up and out of the go-kart. And then all of a sudden, I realize my leg is stuck. And I was just like, oh my God, my leg is stuck in the go-kart. I realized my leg was stuck. And I'm scared to look. Like, I know good and well, as soon as I look, I'll see a bone sticking out of my leg, and there's blood everywhere, and I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not going to be able to hold myself together in front of Lowen, and I knew everything was going to fall apart. So, I pull up, and I wasn't moving. I pull up again, still wasn't moving, and I finally was like, alright, no matter how bad it is, I'm not going to cry. I'm just going to handle with it like survival of the fittest. Once again, because, you know, the last time that happened, it went so well. I looked down, and my leg was wrapped up into the wheel. And it wasn't bad. Like, my leg was just fine. So, like, I unwrapped it, and I pulled it out like that. And I get out of the go-kart. And I'm like, will you help me flip it back up? He's like, yeah. So we flip it back up, and it gets it back on all fours. And we're kind of looking at it, like, what happened to it? And then, all of a sudden, one of the neighbors saw us flip, and he's standing in the middle of this road, both arms out, like, halting traffic. There's cars on this side holding, cars on this side holding traffic, and he is just like macho manning this out, holding the whole city, and like, stop. And he's like pointing at me, and all the people in their cars are now looking at us, and he's like, are you good? And I was just like, and then he's like looking at both cars, and he has reassembled the cars to go back to their normal lives. And we flipped the thing back up, and I was just like, I wasn't crying, I was hurting really bad, and my legs were really busted up, my head hurt because it hit the ground, and I'll insert a picture of my legs right here. They weren't that bad, okay? But I asked Lowen, I'm like, are you okay? Hold on, one car. I was like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I think my arm is broken. And I'm like, okay, this is about to be bad. And then he's like, kind of showing me his arm, and it's like right here where your elbow is, but he showed me this way, and this bone right here was like popping up a really good bit. And I was just like, maybe it's just a knot. Like, I just wanted to be that positive recertification person. I was just like, it's okay. Let's go back to the house. So he's like, it's probably flooded. So we start to go the side-by-side back up, and we drive back down in the house, and nothing was really wrong with it. It's just both side mirrors were broken off. One of the headlights on top were busted, and the tarp on the top was ripped off, like kind of broken. So we took the whole thing off. So we decided not to tell my parents, and we have hid all the stuff in the back of the yard. And the go-kart is parked on the side of the house, and it's only been like 3 minutes since we've been riding the side-by-side. So I come back in, don't say anything, I give the keys back to my brother, I'm like, thanks. Head down, walk to my room. Then we sit in my room, and we waited, and Lowen was mad at me for about 15 minutes, and I decided to tell some of my friends, like, hey, we just lived through a wreck, our first wreck together, everything's good. And I'm sending them videos of my legs and his arm, and the whole time he's just mad. And I was just like, what can you do? Everything's good. We're alive. Like, thank you. And my tongue's blue because I've been drinking juice. And through all of that, later on that night, he goes home, and he doesn't live far away from me. Like, it's like a couple minutes away. And I get back home, and my dad goes up the hill where my grandparents live to eat. While he does that, it is go-go gadget mode. I'm getting some super glue. I have gotten the tarp out of the backyard. I've gotten some sewing needles. I'm gluing everything back onto this sucker. I am sewing the go-kart tarp back on the top, and I see my dad walk down the hill. And I'm like, I grab everything besides the tarp, and I leave that, and I grab the lights, and I'm running back inside the house. I've thrown the super glue. I have thrown the lights somewhere, and then I just sit down when he opened the door, and I was like, hey Dad, hey. And then he's just like, what are you working on? And then I was just like, nothing. And then the feeling of guilt really hit me. And me and my dad are pretty close. So, you know, I know that was my brother's go-kart. And I decided to tell my dad in that moment. I was like, Dad, I don't want to tell you what I was working on, but you need to know because you're not going to like it. And he's like, what? And then I was like, so, you know how me and Lowen went on the go-kart today? And he's like, started breathing like that. And I was just like, oh, God. Please, please, please. I kind of got on my knees in that moment. Like, I was praying really hard in that moment. I was praying. I was like, God, please, please help me. And he was like, show me the side-by-side. So we walked outside, and I was giving him a flashlight, and I was like, I tried to super glue the rear light back on. And he kind of like karate chopped it off. Like, I grabbed some of the lights that were left over, but I had one on there that I worked really hard on. I could have spent that time doing the tarp on top, but no. I super glued that light back onto the side. So he had one light where he's driving. I mean, not a light, mirror. And my dad karate chopped it off. And he's like, what, did you think that was supposed to work? And I was just like, well, yeah, it was going to work. Jameson was never going to know what happened. And he made me tell my brother, myself, and that whole night, I let him hang out with me. And we talked, and I try to make it funny so he wasn't that mad. And my whole family has come to the compromise that I am just going to be working to get money to buy all the supplies needed to fix his side-by-side because I have broken it once again. So, yeah, it only gets better from here. Things are looking up. We love life. Hey guys, I hope y'all enjoyed my video. I know there was a lot of background noise, and next video I will have a much better setting. I will probably have this camper turned on, not just open to the public with the door open to where you can hear all the traffic. And I want y'all to know that this video wasn't the greatest. My first video was not great at all, but I've spent a lot of time working on these things. I've been editing for the past 5 days, and I hope y'all really enjoy this. For the next video, be prepared, because not only is this going to be a story time, it is going to be background evidence. It is going to be something great, and it's going to be an experience we all go through together. Next video. Today I am doing a story time. Just fault.